Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being truly well-informed. I'm Mark.
And I'm Grace. We're part of the Kogya team, recording live today from our Kogya studio right here in sunny Miami, Florida. It's August 2025.
It's great to be here. And today we're tackling something really central for, well, any business leader right now, seizing the agentic AI advantage.
That's right. We've been digging into this CEO playbook, one that really unpacks what many are calling the Gen AI paradox. Lots of deployment, but maybe not the impact people expected.
Exactly. And it maps out how AI agents might be the key to unlocking real scalable impact.
So our mission today is pretty clear. Pull out the most critical, the most actionable insights from this playbook for you.
We want to give you those aha moments, maybe some surprising facts, and keep it engaging. The goal is you walk away really understanding where AI is heading and, maybe more importantly, what it means for your business today.
Couldn't have said it better. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the first thing that jumped out from the source material is, well, it's pretty striking. You've got nearly 8 out of 10 companies saying they're using generative AI.
Right. Huge uptake.
But then almost the same percentage, roughly, report seeing no significant bottom line impact from it. That just screams paradox, doesn't it?
It really does, especially when you think about all the hype, the talk of trillions in potential value, and how Gen AI supposedly, democratized access for everyone.
So what's actually happening? Why the disconnect?
Well, the playbook points to a few key things, and one big one is this imbalance between how AI is being used. There are these horizontal use cases.
Horizontal meaning.
Meaning enterprise-wide tools. Think AI copilots, general chatbots, Microsoft 365. Copilot is a great example. Apparently, nearly 70% of Fortune 500 companies are already using it.
Wow, okay, so those are easy to roll out.
Relatively, yes. And they do offer gains like individual productivity boosts, saving time on routine stuff. People are adopting them partly because they're accessible and partly, to have secure internal options instead of staff using external LLMs. Risk mitigation plays a part.
Makes sense. Easy to deploy, but maybe the impact is kind of spread thin, hard to measure directly on the bottom line.
That's exactly it. Diffuse gains. Now, compare that to the vertical use cases. These are the function-specific applications.
Like AI for analyzing medical images.
Right.
Or predicting supply chain disruptions.
Precisely. Things tailored to a specific job or department. These have much higher potential for direct economic impact, real transformation. But here's a kicker.
Uh-oh.
Fewer than 10% of these vertical projects actually make it past the pilot stage.
Only 10%? That's tiny.
It is. And even the ones that do get deployed, they often stay pretty reactive. They might support one or two isolated steps in a process, but they don't fundamentally change the workflow.
Okay, so that's a huge gap. If vertical AI has so much potential, what's stopping it? Is it the tech itself or something else?
It's a mix, really. The playbook identifies 6 main factors holding back these high-impact projects. First up is what they call fragmented initiatives.
Meaning lots of little projects popping up everywhere.
Kind of. Often bottom-up, driven by individual teams, but without strong central backing. Fewer than 30% of companies say their CEO directly sponsors the AI agenda. So you get scattered efforts, no real strategic alignment.
Right, no cohesive push. What else?
Second, there's a lack of mature packaged solutions. Unlike those off-the-shelf horizontal tools, these vertical ones often need custom building. And crucially, there's often a shortage of MLOps engineers.
MLOps, those are the folks who actually get the models running reliably in production, right?
Yeah.
Not just build the prototype.
Exactly. They bridge the gap between the lab and the real world. Without them, it's hard to industrialize these custom models.
Okay, so lack of packaged solutions, lack of the right engineering skills. Was the core tech also a hurdle, especially early on?
Definitely. That's the third point. Technological limitations of LLMs, particularly in that first wave. You had issues with accuracy, the hallucinations we hear about, made them risky for critical tasks.
Understandable. You can't have your financial analysis AI just making things up.
Precisely. Plus, they were fundamentally passive. They didn't act unless prompted. They struggled with complex, multi-step workflows, and their memory was often limited, making long, coherent tasks difficult.
Got it. So they couldn't really own a process. What else? There were 6 factors, you said.
Right. Fourth was siloed AI teams. Many companies set up AI centers of excellence, which were great for experimenting, but often these teams operated separately from core IT or the business units.
Leading to integration problems down the line.
You got it. poor integration, difficult to scale. Fifth is a classic one, data accessibility and quality gaps. Still a major hurdle, especially unstructured data emails, documents, images, which is often ungoverned.
Garbage in, garbage out still applies.
Always. And finally, number 6, cultural apprehension and organizational inertia. Real resistance from business teams, middle managers. Fear of disruption, job impacts, or just not understanding the tech.
That sounds like a potent cocktail of blockers.
Yeah.
Technical, organizational, cultural.
It explains a lot about why that first wave didn't always deliver the expected ROI.
So was that whole first wave just a wash? Or did it set the stage for something?
Oh, definitely not a wash. It built capabilities, familiarity, risk frameworks. It absolutely laid the groundwork. And that leads us directly into the next phase, the emergence of agentic AI.
Agentic AI. Okay, let's define that. How is it different from the generative AI we've been talking about?
It's a major evolution. Think of generative AI as being great at creating content, text, images, code when prompted. Agentic AI extends that. It moves from just reacting to actually acting autonomously to achieve goals.
Acting autonomously, so less human prompting needed.
Much less, potentially. Agents are designed to understand a high-level objective, break it down into smaller steps, interact with systems, maybe even people, execute those steps, and adapt as they go, all with minimal human intervention.
How do they manage that? What's under the hood?
They combine the power of large language models with other critical components, things like persistent memory, sophisticated planning capabilities, orchestration tools to manage tasks, and integration layers to connect with other software and data sources. It's LLMs plus action.
Okay, so they don't just generate, they execute. That sounds like a significant leap. Where does the business value really come from then? Is it just about doing things faster?
Faster is part of it, but it goes much deeper. The playbook highlights this dual impact. Yes, agents boost efficiency, but maybe more importantly, they supercharge operational agility and they can unlock totally new revenue streams.
Agility and new revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, now that gets really interesting. How do they transform operations specifically?
The sources point to 5 main ways. First, they accelerate execution. They can eliminate human handoff delays, run tasks in parallel, coordinate multiple systems at once, just faster workflows overall.
Makes sense. Parallel processing instead of linear.
Second, adaptability. Because they can continuously ingest data, they can adjust workflows on the fly, react to changing conditions, flag anomalies humans might miss.
So they're not just following a rigid script.
Not at all. Third is personalization at scale. They can tailor interactions, decisions, offers based on incredibly detailed individual profiles or real-time behavior. Fourth is elasticity. Think of it as digital capacity that can instantly scale up or down based on workload. Try doing that with a human team.
Right. Impossible. And the fifth.
Resilience. Agents can monitor for disruptions like in a supply chain reroute processes, find alternatives, and only escalate to humans when absolutely necessary. They keep things running.
That adaptability and resilience sound crucial. Can you paint a picture, like a concrete example of an agent transforming an operation?
Sure, let's take that supply chain example. Imagine an AI agent, or maybe a team of agents, acting as an orchestration layer across your sourcing, manufacturing, warehousing, distribution.
Okay, overseeing the whole flow.
Right. It's connected to your internal ERP, your warehouse systems, but also external feeds, weather forecasts, shipping delays, supplier updates, commodity prices.
So it has real-time context.
Exactly.
Okay.
And based on that, it's continuously forecasting demand, identifying potential risks like a port closure or a supplier issue, and then dynamically replanning. It might reroute shipments, adjust inventory levels across different locations, even automatically negotiate spot rates with carriers through their systems.
Wow. So it's not just reporting problems, it's actively solving them.
Precisely. It handles the complex coordination and optimization, escalating only the truly strategic decisions, like maybe shifting production plans to human managers. The impact: better service, lower costs, less waste, maybe even lower emissions. It's a huge step up from static planning.
That really illustrates the difference. Moving beyond just efficiency, what about the top-line growth you mentioned? How do agents help generate more revenue?
2 main ways highlighted in the playbook. First, by amplifying existing revenues. Think e-commerce. An agent embedded in your online store could analyze a specific user's behavior, their purchase history, even real-time browsing patterns, and proactively offer tailored upsells or cross-sells right then and there. Much more effective than generic offers.
Or in finance, maybe guiding a customer to the right loan product based on their profile.
Exactly. Proactive guidance. The second way is potentially even more transformative, creating new revenue streams.
How so?
Well, imagine an industrial equipment manufacturer. They could embed agents in their connected machines. These agents monitor usage, predict failures, maybe even autonomously unlock premium features based on how the machine is used. This enables new models like pay-per-use or outcome-based subscriptions.
So the product itself becomes a platform for ongoing services delivered by the agent.
You got it. Or think about a professional services firm, legal, consulting, accounting. They could encapsulate some of their deep expertise, their specific reasoning processes, into AI agents, then offer those agents as a SaaS product or via an API to clients. They're essentially productizing and scaling their knowledge.
That's fascinating. Monetizing expertise directly through AI. It really does shift the focus beyond just internal cost savings.
It absolutely does. It opens up entirely new ways to think about value creation.
It's powerful to talk about the potential, but seeing it work is different. The sources give some really concrete examples of companies already using agents for more than just efficiency tweaks.
They do. Take a large bank trying to modernize its core systems. We're talking 400 different software components, a budget around $600 million, historically a super manual, error-prone process, very siloed.
Sounds of a nightmare project.
Right. But they introduced an agentic approach. Humans became supervisors, overseeing squads of AI agents. These agents did things like documenting the old legacy code, writing new code based on specifications, reviewing other agents' code, integrating features, running tests.
So the agents were doing the heavy lifting on the coding and testing.
A lot of it, yeah. The impact. In the teams that adopted this early, they saw over a 50% reduction in the time and effort required. Humans could focus on the harder architectural decisions, the strategic parts.
50% faster on legacy modernization.
Yeah.
It's like huge. What about something different, maybe data quality?
Good example. A market research firm had about 500 people manually checking data quality. Despite that, 80% of errors were actually flagged by clients after delivery, not caught internally.
Ouch, not ideal.
Not at all. So they built a multi-agent solution. These agents work together to autonomously spot anomalies in the data, figure out why sales or market share might have shifted unexpectedly, synthesize the potential drivers, and rank them. Sometimes surfacing things human analysts might overlook.
So it's finding insights, not just errors.
Exactly. The potential they measured was over 60% productivity gain in that quality assurance process, translating to maybe over $3 million saved annually.
That hits right at a core operational pain point.
Yeah.
Any examples closer to, say, administrative tasks that slow people down?
Yep. Think about a retail bank where relationship managers, RMs, used to spend weeks writing complex credit risk memos. They had to pull data manually from 10, maybe more, different systems.
Sounds tedious and slow.
Terribly. Now they have agents assisting them. The agents extract the relevant data from all those sources, draft initial sections of the memo, even generate confidence scores for the analysis, and suggest potential follow-up questions for the RM to ask the client.
So the RM shifts from data monkey to strategic reviewer and decision maker.
That's the idea. They oversee, they verify, they add the strategic nuance. The projected productivity increase is somewhere between 20 and 60%, and importantly includes about a 30% faster credit turnaround time. Better for the bank, better for the customer.
These examples really drive it home. But what's the bigger strategic lesson here? It seems clear it's not just about dropping agents into the way things are done today. You mentioned something about reinventing the process.
That is absolutely the critical insight from the playbook. Just inserting agents into an existing, often clunky legacy process. Sure, it might make some steps faster. The agent acts like a speedier assistant.
But the fundamental flow is the same.
Exactly. The process itself is still sequential, probably rule-bound, designed around human limitations and handoffs. Reinventing the process around agents means rethinking the whole flow from scratch. How should tasks be ordered? Who does what human or agent? How do we truly leverage the agent's unique abilities?
What abilities specifically are we talking about leveraging in a redesign process?
Things like true parallel execution agents doing multiple things at once, their ability to adapt in real time based on data, the deep personalization they enable, and that elastic capacity scaling up or down instantly. You design the process assuming those capabilities are available.
Can you contrast that? Maybe use an example to show the difference between just optimizing with agents versus full reinvention.
Sure, the call center example from the playbook is perfect. Let's say you start by just using Gen AI to assist your human agents, helping them find knowledge-based articles faster, maybe drafting email replies.
Okay, a helper tool. What's the impact?
You might see a modest 5 to 10% reduction in average resolution time. Helpful, but not game-changing.
Right. What's step two?
Step 2 is using agents to optimize discrete tasks within the existing workflow. Maybe an agent classifies incoming tickets automatically or handles very simple, repetitive requests entirely on its own.
Taking over specific chunks of the work.
Exactly. Here, you might see a more significant impact, maybe 20 to 40% faster resolution times, and perhaps a 30 to 50% reduction in the backlog of simple tickets. Better, definitely.
Okay, getting warmer.
Yeah.
But that's still optimizing the old process. What does reinvention look like?
Reinvention means you design the process assuming agent autonomy from the start. Agents aren't just handling simple tickets, they're proactively monitoring customer interactions across channels, maybe spotting patterns that predict a problem before the customer even calls.
Wow, okay. Proactive.
They anticipate needs. They might automatically initiate resolution steps, issue a refund for a known outage, reorder a damaged item based on a photo upload, proactively offer a discount because of a delivery delay, and communicate directly with the customer.
So the agents are handling a huge chunk of the interactions autonomously.
Potentially, yes. Humans then shift to become exception handlers, dealing with the really complex, novel, or sensitive cases. They oversee the system, ensure quality, and manage the escalations. The impact here, it's transformative. The playbook suggests potentially up to 80% of common incidents could be resolved autonomously,
80%.
with a corresponding 60 to 90% reduction in overall resolution time for those issues. It's a fundamentally different, much more efficient, and likely better customer experience.
That's a staggering difference. So when does it make sense to go for that full reinvention versus just automating some tasks? It sounds like a lot more work.
It is more work, absolutely. Simple task automation is often fine for highly standardized, stable, repetitive workflows, where the main goal is just reducing manual effort, maybe some basic HR or finance processes.
Okay, low variability, clear rules.
Right. But processes that are really complex, that cross multiple functions, that have lots of exceptions and require frequent human judgment based on data, or that are super critical to business performance, those are prime candidates for reinvention.
Why them specifically?
Because that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck by leveraging agent capabilities like orchestration, adaptation, learning, and personalization, the overhead of human coordination, the rigidity of sequential steps, the delays in decision-making. Those are the things agents are uniquely good at overcoming when the process is redesigned around them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But scaling this, if you have potentially hundreds, thousands of these agents interacting, adapting, how do companies actually manage that complexity? That sounds like it could get chaotic fast.
That is a huge challenge, and it leads directly to this concept the playbook calls the agentic AI mesh.
Agentic AI mesh sounds
Yeah.
intricate. What is it?
Think of it as a new architectural blueprint. It's designed to be a composable, distributed, and importantly, vendor-agnostic environment. It's the fabric that allows all these different agents, maybe some you build, some you buy, to reason, collaborate, and act autonomously across all your different systems, but in a secure and scalable way.
Okay, so it's like the operating system for your agent workforce.
That's a good analogy. It's built on 5 core design principles. First, composability.
Meaning plug and play.
Pretty much. Any agent, any tool, any LLM should be able to plug into the mesh relatively easily. Second, distributed intelligence. Complex problems get solved by networks of agents cooperating, not just one super agent.
Like a team.
Exactly. Third, layered decoupling. This means separating the different functions, the agent's core logic, its memory, the orchestration of workflows, the user interface into distinct layers, makes it more modular, easier to upgrade parts independently.
Avoids creating a monolith. Makes sense.
Fourth, vendor neutrality. This is key. The mesh should allow you to swap components in and out, favoring open standards where possible, like something called Model Context Protocol, MCP, or agent-to-agent, A2A, communication standards. Basically, common ways for different AI bits to talk to each other so you're not locked into one specific vendor's ecosystem.
Smart. Avoids lock-in. And the fifth principle.
Governed autonomy. This is crucial for managing risk. Agent behavior needs to be controllable through embedded policies, clear permissions, and well-defined escalation paths. They operate autonomously, but within guardrails.
So the mesh provides the structure, the communication pathways, and the governance layer for this whole ecosystem of agents.
Precisely. It helps coordinate everything, supports multi-agent collaboration, and it's critical for preventing that agent sprawl we'll talk about later. It also implies some specific needs for the underlying LLMs they need to be fast, low latency, fine-tunable for specific tasks, deployable in lightweight ways, support scalable orchestration, and offer strong data sovereignty and audit trails.
And the long-term vision here.
The playbook suggests enterprise systems themselves will evolve. Instead of just being AI augmented, they'll become agent native, designed from the ground up for machines to interact with them first, rather than humans.
That's a fundamental shift in enterprise IT architecture. But, what really stood out to me in the sources was the emphasis that the biggest challenge here might not even be the technology. It's the human element.
Absolutely. The tech is moving fast, but integrating these increasingly autonomous agents into organizations throws up huge human and organizational challenges. The playbook flags three critical areas. First, just the basics of human-agent cohabitation.
Living and working alongside these agents day to day.
Right, it raises really nuanced questions. When should an agent take the initiative? When should it defer to a human? How do you build trust? And that trust isn't just about performance, it's about transparency, understanding why the agent did what it did, and predictability, especially in new situations.
So we need agents that are not just smart, but also good collaborators, in a sense.
You could put it that way. Second and challenge is autonomy control. Agents, by definition, act independently. They adapt. They might even find novel solutions you didn't expect. The goal isn't to stifle that autonomy, but to make sure it's understandable, aligned with goals, and has safety nets. How do you handle edge cases where an agent is maybe too aggressive or fails to escalate when it should? And the risk of hallucinations, while maybe reduced, is still there.
So defining the boundaries and the escalation paths becomes even more critical.
Absolutely. And the third big human challenge is sprawl containment. Remember the early days of RPA? Robotic process automation?
Wow, bots popping up everywhere, often undocumented, unmanaged.
Exactly. There's a real risk of history repeating itself with agents, especially as low-code, no-code tools make it easier for anyone to build them. You could end up with thousands of redundant, fragmented, ungoverned agents, a new kind of shadow IT.
Undermining the whole idea of a cohesive, efficient system.
Precisely. Without strong governance, design standards, lifecycle management, the whole agent ecosystem could become fragile, inefficient, and impossible to scale effectively. It really highlights the need for a very deliberate strategy.
It really does sound like a major strategic inflection point. So putting it all together, what's the practical roadmap, especially for CEOs and senior leaders trying to navigate this shift from just experimenting with Gen AI to actually transforming with agentic AI?
Well, the playbook argues for a fundamental reset across 4 dimensions of how companies approach AI. First is strategy. It needs to shift from lots of scattered, maybe bottom-up initiatives towards focused, strategic programs that are tightly aligned with the company's biggest priorities. Leaders need to challenge their teams to truly reimagine how core parts of the business could operate, not just look for small optimizations.
So bigger picture thinking, tied to core strategy.
Exactly. Second is the unit of transformation. Instead of focusing on isolated use cases, the focus needs to shift to reinventing entire end-to-end business processes. The key question becomes something like, what would this whole function say, customer service or supply chain planning look like if AI agents were autonomously handling 60% of the work?
That's a much more ambitious and probably more impactful question than, can AI make this one task faster?
Absolutely. Third dimension is the delivery model. This means moving away from siloed AI centers of excellence operating in isolation. Instead, you need truly cross-functional transformation squads.
Bring everyone together.
Yes. Business experts, process designers who can rethink the workflows, AI and MLOps engineers, IT architects, data engineers, all working together on that end-to-end process transformation.
Integrated teams for integrated solutions.
Yeah.
And the fourth dimension.
The implementation process itself, it has to move beyond just experimentation and pilots towards industrialized, scalable delivery. That means designing for scale right from the start, both technically and financially, and really rigorously estimating the ongoing running costs, the compute, the monitoring, the maintenance, which for Gen AI and agentic systems can actually be quite significant, sometimes even exceeding the initial build cost over time.
That's a crucial point, often overlooked in the initial excitement. So strategy, unit of transformation, delivery model, implementation. What else is needed? What are the core enablers for this agentic era?
The playbook highlights 4 absolutely critical enablers. First, people. You need to equip the workforce for this new reality of human plus agent collaboration. That means training, developing new mindsets, and likely introducing new roles, prompt engineers, agent orchestrators, human-in-the-loop designers who specialize in crafting these collaborative workflows.
So investing in the human side is paramount.
Non-negotiable. Second, governance. Defining clear frameworks for agent autonomy levels, setting decision boundaries, establishing robust monitoring and auditing processes, maybe even classification systems for different types of agents based on their capabilities and risks. This is essential to manage autonomy and prevent that sprawl we talked about.
Structure and oversight makes sense.
Third, technology architecture. Companies need to actively start evolving towards that agentic AI mesh concept we discussed and prepare for a future where core enterprise systems are agent-first, designed for machine interaction.
Laying the technical foundation. And the last one.
Fourth is data. It always comes back to data, doesn't it? Accelerating the creation of clean, accessible data products, and crucially, extending strong governance practices to unstructured data, which is fuel for many of these agents, but often remains poorly managed.
People, governance, tech, data. It really paints a picture of comprehensive change. And the playbook seems adamant that driving this kind of transformation, moving from scattered experiments to something scaled and strategic, well, it has to come from the top.
It is absolutely positioned as a CEO mandate. This pivot isn't something that can be delegated down the chain. The sources suggest 3 key actions for CEOs right now.
Okay, what should be on the CEO's immediate agenda?
First, conclude the experimentation phase and realign AI priorities. Basically, call time on the scattergun approach. Do a proper review. What did we learn from all those pilots? Which ones showed real promise for scaling? Retire the ones that didn't, and focus investment and effort on a smaller number of high-impact strategic programs.
Deliberate focus instead of let 1,000 flowers bloom.
Exactly. Second, redesign the AI governance and operating model. This means setting up a formal, high-level strategic AI council. This shouldn't just be tech folks. It needs leaders like the Chief Human Resources Officer, the Chief Data Officer, the CIO, maybe heads of key business units. Their job is to set the overall direction, coordinate investments across silos, and rigorously track the value being delivered.
Centralized oversight and accountability. And the third key action.
Launch first Lighthouse Transformation Project and simultaneously initialize the Agentic AI Tech Foundation. This is about getting started in earnest. Pick 1 or maybe 2 core business areas where reinventing a process with agentic AI could have a massive impact. Make that your lighthouse project to show what's possible. But at the same time, start laying the groundwork for that agentic AI mesh, investing in those core enablers, the tech, the data, the governance, the people skills.
So a flagship project to build momentum while building the underlying platform for future scaling.
Precisely. It's sending a clear signal that the company is serious about this, while pragmatically building the capabilities needed for the long haul. The message is clear. Agentic AI isn't just another tool. It's foundational to the next generation operating model for basically any organization. This is a moment where strategic choices will really start to separate the leaders from the laggards.
What an incredibly insightful deep dive today. We started by unpacking that puzzling Gen AI paradox. Lots of activity, not much impact.
And then we really explored how agentic AI is poised to break through that, moving way beyond just efficiency to really boost operational agility and even create new ways to make money.
Those case studies were powerful, showing agents modernizing code, ensuring data quality, streamlining complex processes like credit memos.
And that critical point, the real win, isn't just plugging agents in, it's fundamentally reinventing core processes around what agents can do. That call center example really highlighted the difference.
We also touched on the enabling architecture, that agentic AI mesh, and importantly, the significant human and organizational challenges, like managing autonomy and avoiding agent sprawl.
Which all leads back to the idea that this is truly a CEO-level mandate now. The era of just exploring Gen AI seems to be closing. The time for strategic, scaled transformation powered by agentic AI is here.
It definitely leaves us with a powerful question for you, our listener. Looking at your own organization, where could agentic AI go beyond just optimizing things? Where could it truly reinvent a core process, fundamentally changing how you operate and create value?
That's definitely something to chew on. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
We really hope you found it valuable. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section, or feel free to share this deep dive with colleagues in your network.
And please do follow the deep dive on your favorite podcast platform and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives from the team here at Kogya.
Until next time, I'm Mark.
And I'm Grace.
From the Kogya team.